Hi everyone, welcome to Girl in the Green Wellies. This is plot walkthrough number 2, and in true British summertime fashion, it's lashing down. So welcome to walkthrough number 2. It's the 2nd of July, and this was intended to be June's walkthrough. However, due to having to have a period of self-isolation, we've only just been able to get along to the allotment today. So although it's the very beginning of July, this is for June. And the first thing I want to talk about, which I'm really pleased about, is my tulip bulbs. So a couple of weeks ago I dug up all the tulip bulbs to dry and replant in the autumn. Now I've just been checking them and I'm really pleased to see that they have now started to form skins. So this means they'll store really well, and fingers crossed next year they should give me a good display of colour in the springtime. We've also got some tomato plants hardening off, and we've also got the sweet potato plants ready to go out into big tubs. The kale I've had hardening off probably for about 3 weeks. They are absolutely desperate to go into the ground so that they can really start to grow. Truth be told, that's the same with all the brassicas. So I've got cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, kohlrabi, purple sprout and broccoli. They're all desperate to get out, so fingers crossed that'll be the job to do this weekend. Not even the rubbish weather is going to put what off. No fair weather gardening. Here we are, here to get mucky and dirty and get the job done. So I'm going to be brave and come out from under cover from the big tree, which is lovely from the rain. I don't know if you can hear, but it's absolutely lashing down. But let's go and we'll have a look and see what we've got. Now the grass, like I said last walkthrough, is a work in progress, although the good weather and the rain that we've had recently has brought it on great guns, so that's going to get a good cut down in the next couple of days. If you come on through, the bedding plant that we did a couple of weeks ago is really starting to take hold. The cosmos and the lupins have really come on, which I'm pleased about, because the more flowers and plants that we have to attract the pollinators, the better our fruit and veg is going to be. So I'm really happy with those. And while we're here, I'm just going to come over and show you these roses. These are one of my most favourite flowers. The smell from them is just amazing, and I'm really pleased. I don't know if you can see, there are loads of rosebuds at the top, which is going to be great again for attracting bees and pollinators to the plot. One of the crops I was really keen to try out were tomatoes in hanging baskets. So these tomatoes are planted up a month ago and they've been outside ever since. I'm so pleased to see that they've actually started to get flowers on. And this variety is a tumbling tiger tomato, so that'll mean that they have a nice red skin and there'll be variegated stripes on it, so it should look quite interesting, and I'm told that they taste really good. So we've got 2 plants in there and 3 plants in here. All I've done, it's a determinate plant, so that just means that it'll grow a certain height and then stop, and then all the fruit will be produced then. All I've done to maintain them is just from the join, I've just taken off the suckers and then I've left them to go. I'm really pleased that they are looking good, they're looking strong and healthy, and they haven't been set back by the cold weather. So continuing through the archway, we've got the clematis growing really well. It's a beautiful deep purple colour, which gives that part of the allotment a nice little walk through, and the honeysuckle going across the top smells fantastic. Let's go on through to the plot and we'll see what's happening through here. The leeks are in flower at the back, so I wanted to try and leave the leeks, well, I say they're in flower, they are just about ready to pop. I wanted to leave those as long as I can, but I think I'm going to have to end up taking them all out because I've noticed on the garlic some rust. Now the rust shouldn't affect the clove itself, but too much rust will stop the garlic from growing, so that's going to be a job for me in the next day or two, I think, just to get the garlic out, remove any leaves with the rust, and let the garlic cloves themselves start to dry, and that'll give us a good crop to see us through the summer. And moving on, Luke's plot, this is coming great. I don't know if you saw Luke's plot, but he planted his very own seeds. He also built his own pea climbing frame, and then he filled the plot with some petunias, some strawberries and some herbs. His peas have sprouted up and they are going really well, so I'm giving him a big thumbs up for top growing. one of the things that makes Great British summer are strawberries. Now I'm really pleased to see that we've got flowers coming and there's a huge crop of strawberries coming through in the patch that we've got there. I was going to make this a square foot gardening area, but having discussed it with my teenager, who I have to be honest isn't really keen on growing, I've decided to take this section over and expand the strawberry bed for next year. My love of strawberry jam has got to the point now where I want to be able to make a full batch from strawberries that I grow here on the allotment. So that's my plan for next year, having this whole section as a strawberry jam farm. So moving on down the plot, we've got the globe artichokes. I'm really impressed with the growth that they've put on for very, very minimal effort. We had 3 chokes appear on the far plant about a month ago, but I'm really pleased to see we've got a lovely head coming on this one. We've got a head coming on the one at the back, and that appears to be it. But after the first year of cutting them off, I think they're doing really well, coming back nice and strong, so I can't wait to get my first one off and eat it at home. The next one that I've got to show you is the sweet corn patch. Now you might be thinking it looks a little bit bare and not very full of sweet corn. You'd actually be very right. Out of the 25 seeds that we've planted there, only 3 have germinated, barely. But luckily enough, I'd got some backup ones grown in the greenhouse. They are really tall, so in the next week or two, we're going to be very busy in the next week or two, and we are going to be transplanting the backup sweet corn to go in here, and we'll be able to take the net off and let that grow. The reason why I wanted to make sure that they were all together is because sweet corn will pollinate in the wind, so by packing them in a block, you're going to increase your chances of actually getting some really good ears of corn in the autumn. So bringing you down amongst the peas and potatoes, the peas are looking really good, and they have started to grow up, and I'm going to start, after the video, I'm going to start putting a little bit of support just to keep them in, train them in. You can see there's loads of pea flowers coming on. Now these are the Hearst green shaft variety. So if you can see here, there's actually 2 flowers growing per node, which means 2 pods, which means more peas for me. On this side we have got potatoes. They've put on some really good growth. I've earthed them up once already, but these will be due for another earthing up in the next week or two. There's no flowers on these yet, which I wouldn't expect with them being second earlies, but they will appear within the next 4 weeks. If you come over to this side, let me just hop across. We've got the pot potatoes. Now these are the same varieties of potatoes that I've got in the ground. We're just doing them in pots to see how they go and compare the growth and see what they're like when we harvest them. These are huge. I'm really, really pleased with these. A lot of good growth to me indicates that there's going to be lots of potatoes to harvest, which is what it's all about. They're probably my favourite crop to grow. I don't think there'll ever be a year where I don't grow potatoes. So just taking a little breather underneath the tree, I just wanted to show you the wildflower area that we've got going at the moment. These are perennial cornflowers. The bees absolutely love them, and I think they look really pretty. We've also got some other random wildflowers growing in the back. Some people call them weeds. I like to call them native annuals. We'll call them that. We've also got the gooseberry bush in the back. It's put on loads of growth over this year. It had been neglected for a couple of years, and I gave it a hard prune in the winter, which I think has done it the world of good, to be honest. Underneath all the branches between the thorns are some really nice plump gooseberries. Next year, because we've got more growth this year, the gooseberries grow on last year's growth, so because we've got new growth this year, next year we should get more gooseberries too. The pond area is going really well this year too, and all the plants that we submerged at the beginning of the year have started to put on some really nice growth. They've all survived, which I am thrilled and delighted about. So much so, we've even got a little newt that's living in the pond now, and we've called him Neville. In true Blue Peter fashion, he's not making an appearance, so I can't show you on this particular video. You're just going to have to trust us on that, and we'll get some video footage to you soon. And one of the the other things I'm really pleased about is in the water we've got a water forget-me-not, and I've just noticed today it's actually started to flower, which is brilliant for me to see. We've also got some floating pond plants, and they've started to produce big lily pad shaped leaves, which is perfect for insects to sit on and rest and take a drink of water in the hot summer sun, which seems to have escaped us today. And the last area we've got at the top of the plot is Andy's pot. I'm going to leave Andy to come back and give you an update on his area. I'm sure he's got it all in hand, but all the things that he's planted so far are looking good. The last thing I'm going to tell you about, for me, are the shallots. Now, they got absolutely ravaged by pigeons when I first planted them out, so for me to have some shallots to harvest is amazing. They are ready to come out. The tops have fallen over and they have now got a papery skin on. These are going to come out, and because we haven't got very many, I'm going to pack them into a jar and I'm going to pickle them. I don't know whether to do them just as they are or whether to put some spice in there. Let us know in the comments what way you would go. But that is the plot walkthrough number 2. Remember, if you like the videos, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe on the link below. There we are, a really quick and speedy tour of the allotment this month. I'm really excited to get the new plants into the ground and see how they take. It's time for us to go. I've got a very wet and bedraggled cameraman behind there, so I'm going to let him get home and get dried off. Thanks very much for watching. As always, pop your feedback in the comments section below. We always reply to you guys, and we'll see you again next time.